Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Pro Tour Europe Weekly. I'm your host, Nathanias, and in the top left, we've got a nice little ZvZ. We've got the Blue Zerg player. He is SortOf. And his opponent in the southeast, we have the Purple Zerg player. He is Risky. I think Risky is one of those guys that does not like me. I don't have too much to say about him. He's apparently a pretty decent Zerg player, though. I know he qualified for the final bracket for the playoffs of DreamHack Masters for this season. He's in a pretty tough group, though. I think he's in there with Cyril. I think he's in with Cyril in Cyril's group and Clem or something like that. So that's terrifying. And SortOf, he's a very good European Zerg player who mostly struggles because all the best Zerg players in the world right now are European. You know, we talk about Cyril, we talk about Raynor. Those guys are they're just generally on another level. They're incredibly talented. They're incredibly good at the game, and they are not only scary to play against. They're just really, really fantastic at StarCraft. So when you're good at StarCraft, people notice, people pay attention, people see the skills. They see it, they fear it. They often underestimate it, and you need to be on top of that. You got to be careful. You know, you got to be very, very cautious. This map, everybody, all these maps, so many people have been talking about stuff between the like the hatchery and the pool, being able to wall off your natural in the event that you get with that hit with that the 12 pool with the drones getting pulled as well, which is definitely one of the things that you just got to be careful about that. Honestly, I did not really get it, and then it happened so many times over the DreamHack event that like, yeah, no, if you get it, it's like 60% of the time it works every time. Like, it's just so good of a cheese against other Zerg players. And I'll tell you what, from a Terran player's perspective, we're really good at coming up with just evil, vile cheeses to use against our own people, you know, because we know our weaknesses better than our enemies do, right? So if you're fighting someone who's the same as you, then that's what you would want to do. No frame drop on this end. Yeah, it seems like it's better now. It does appear to be better now, which is very, very nice. It would be nice to be able to use NVNC on part of it, but I'm just gonna have to. When settings change for no reason, and then it's like, it just makes me nervous. I know you're only supposed to have like a certain amount of threads going for NVNC, which I understand is a part of the issue. So stuff like that you just got to be careful about, because they added you can have your graphics card actually accelerate your desktop now instead of just random programs. So that's what I've been using, and it's actually really nice. But I guess that was a part of what made it buggy, because for some reason it was trying to stream and record and do all of the other stuff and play the game, right? So it could just basically, a lot of stuff was causing the GPU to chug. But that might even just be because it's getting a good amount of strain from running the game in 4K. Not that it's too hard for StarCraft to play at 4K, but it is possible that there's a correlation that just the insane amount of GPU usage. Maybe I am actually just maxing out my 2080 Ti. That could actually be it. All right, these links from SortOf come into poke. Risky does not have link speed yet, which is mind-boggling to think about, but he seems fine to protect this space. Yeah. It's really weird. It's like, yeah, I've got links. Okay, speed is about to finish though, and then so he's like it's funny watching SortOf move these Zerglings around, because it honestly just seems like he's like upset that he can't do anything, even though he has link speed and his opponent doesn't. And the Zergling count is literally one more for Risky. He's got one more ling than SortOf does. So like, how do you even take these fights? Look how fast these guys go through that acceleration zone. It has a weird impact on matchups like ZvZ. That's all I'm going to say. And it does look like we have a massive all-in possibly coming right here from SortOf. I mean, He put out a bunch of roaches, got another 30 lings. He's got so many units. This is insane. He's coming in hot. Thank you, Harrison, for the 6-month resub. Yeah. I'm like, now if the FPS looks low, it's because the game is starting to chug from having, you know, over 100 units running all over the place. Like, this is just wild. Oh my god, what an ugly mess. The roaches, I think, could be the difference makers here, though. He's trying to get a lurker den and spine crawlers up. Oh my god, Risky is so greedy. What the hell is this game? The roaches in the front. The choke point is for lunch. I don't even know what to say here. Oh, as the roaches get low, he's turning them into Ravagers to maximize their cost efficiency. Another thing I love. Gets a good bile onto the queen. Pulls the Ravagers back. SortOf is so good at StarCraft. Like, Risky definitely going for a risky strategy here. Not going to pay off for him. Now the Worm de la Nidus is going to pop in the back. He did get that lurker den, but there are no Hydras. And also no lurkers, right? Can't make them without the Hydralisks. So unfortunately, it looks like we are going to have a pretty quick cleanup here, and SortOf should be able to win this game. I really don't know what's going to stop him. Drop those biles, kill the spine. These queens going to maybe have to trudge backwards towards that Nidus worm for a sec as the rest of the roaches come out, and Risky just does not have anything. He's building 22 more Zerglings, so he is just hoping for like the overwhelm your unit strategy. But as more roaches come out, I feel less and less confident in the ability for these guys to close it out. SortOf has double the drones of his opponent. And while Risky does have a pretty big army, he cannot overstate the value of the Nidus. I would pop the next one here with the rest of these guys, right? But Risky's actually going to... I don't know. Risky is going to have the most stupidly fast lurkers. Do I think he can do anything with them? No. But at the same time... They are the best, wait, yeah, like next to Ravagers, the best comeback unit in ZvZ. Lurkers can be really good. He's just droning up like crazy. He's got a lot of gas. Those 3 Hydras that he built should all turn into lurkers immediately. Yeah, there we go. 3 lurkers. But how do you attack? How do you get damage done? How do you harass in this situation? That I do not have the answer to. That seems difficult. That seems like a difficult scenario to play around. A +1 attack is coming in for SortOf. Those roaches are going to get even stronger. I'm surprised he doesn't try to pop a Nidus in like the back of the main or something. Yeah, lurkers are scary, but I think he could pretty easily get an Overseer towards the rear, and then he can't have lurkers in every place at once, you know. We're going to be watching a remake of Jan Quadrant Vincent 16. But regardless, SortOf says, all right, I'll take another base. I'm going to get a Spire. Maybe just use Mutalisks, like a mass swarm of Mutalisks to overwhelm his opponents, since he'd be thinking that, like, the most he could do is get some lurkers. I'm trying here, guys. I'm trying. This one looks pretty bleak for Risky. You could say it looks sort of bleak for Risky. Sorry, I can't not, you know what I mean? When it's on the table. When it's on the table, sometimes you just gotta pick it up. Sometimes you just gotta pick up what's on the table. That's all I'm going to say. We have these Zerglings coming in. Gonna try and get the cheeky surround on the Queen. And gonna get at least one of them off. SortOf's roach speed actually came in so late. I do feel a little bit bad for him. How many lurkers do we have? Still just 3. Is he going to build more lurkers? Because if he does, then it's actually weird because he has less anti-air to deal with the Mutalisks. And Mutas are really good snowball units. I don't know. I don't know how many Mutas he's going to build, though. Just enough to clear the Overlords? Maybe? What's scary about this situation is that it makes you not want to build more lurkers. But at the end of the day, he's got 36 roaches and 7 ravagers. Like, the army here for SortOf is pretty freaking terrifying, to say the least. Yeah, he's maxed out versus 100 supply of risky. Like, how good do you think lurkers are? He's going to build 5 more, but then the Hydra count gets scarily low. No, he only has 5 mutas. It's not that bad. The more lurkers, the better right now for him. 100%. I don't know how many lurkers you need to kill this whole entire army, but I think he's actually pretty close to that number. He's got quite a few of them on the map already. We've got 8 lurkers for the purple Zerg. He says, all right, I'll deny your 4th base. And the Hydras with the spores are going to try and shoo away any Mutalisks or anything else. This is what I was waiting for the whole game for, by the way. There we go. He got a hive. He's getting lurker range. But he does not have the lurker burrow upgrade. So this is a really interesting position that's about to be put forward here. If only he had more inside of the Nidus. He's going to use the roaches that come out to actually pick off the individual Hydralisks that could turn into lurkers that are inside of the main base here, which is nice. But he did get the lurker range upgrade. So it seems, you know, Risky's like the turtle mech player of Zerg. Oh my god, I just realized it. Risky, despite being very vocal about how he feels about turtle mech players, he's literally turtle meching right now. He lost all of his economy at the beginning of the game, started spamming siege tanks so he couldn't be killed. Yeah. Wow. I didn't think you could play mech with Zerg. I didn't think you could play slow turtle mech with Zerg, but Risky has figured it out. Let me guess. He's the kind of guy that tells Terrans who play mech that they're bad. I love Risky. He's a funny guy. That's why I like to give him a little shit every now and again. Ooh, misses the lurkers. Man, if you're SortOf, you got to be playing this game like, what the hell is happening? I've been maxed out for 10 minutes, and I can't even kill the other guy because of all of this random stuff he's got. Ooh, that +2 melee for Risky is also nice. Like, yes, you have burrow for drones, but you can get a lot of damage done there and delay a lot of income. The Vipers are nice, but the fact that Risky played so greedy as a response to this, he still has his own Vipers coming out. These roaches have the burrow move upgrade. Oh my god, but yeah, if you walk into lurkers, then it doesn't matter. And then you show the roaches before they get a chance to do anything. And just spine crawlers won't stop +2 lings. Risky's getting a lot of harass and counterattack shenanigans done here. SortOf, I don't know if SortOf was expecting this level of difficulty, but here it is. Hatchery getting very low. And he's actually getting adrenal glands too. Something that you do not see a lot of in ZvZ, just because Zerglings being used this late. It's a bit unusual, but it seems to be working very well for him. Just tons of counterattacks and backstabs with those very well upgraded Zerglings. Now, SortOf is going to get his own lurkers. In fact, he's already got the upgrades for him. Adaptive Talons is about to finish, so his lurkers will have their full potential. And I think that that makes things interesting because we don't have the Carapace upgrade. We don't have the +2 Carapace for Risky. And +3 attack is about to be done for the lurkers of SortOf. And that's what makes this scary. Oh, these roaches are going to go trade their lives to free up supply. So they're going to free up some supply by throwing away the roaches. Meanwhile, SortOf has so many lurkers that are way better upgraded, right? These guys do 20-30 versus armored. These guys do 26-40 versus armored. Does pick off one of the Vipers, though. SortOf trying to break the turtleneck player. He's trying to break the turtleneck player here. Don't know what just happened there. I think we've got, oh, just changelings. Oh, lurker harass from Risky, though. Gonna go over to this base. And he's got his own lurker, but it doesn't matter because with 10 range, you don't really have to be that close to actually get damage done. So I do really like that. It's actually he's doing a really good job. He somehow got a lurker behind this base. And he gets rid of that one now, but oh my goodness. This has been quite a weird ZvZ. I have to be honest with you. I didn't think we'd see a turtle mech Terran in a ZvZ, but Risky's turtle mech style is actually starting to allow him to max, which does not make any sense. But as long as SortOf can't close this game out, there's an opportunity for Risky to keep getting these picks. Yeah, there you go. Gets an abduct. Does not get to kill the Overseer. Okay, maybe that's a mistake. Pulls in 4 of the lurkers that instantly burrow. Wow. Really like how SortOf actually used that. Oh, he gets a lot of damage done on the Hydralisks of Risky. Oh my God. I love the way that he just burrowed them as soon as they got abducted. And now these Hydras are all completely out of health. What a game. What a game. Do we even have any Hydras? Where are SortOf's Hydralisks? Oh, okay, they're mixed in with the Ravagers. I couldn't see them for a second. I was like, what's going on here? Well, now I'm really worried for him because these Hydras are starting to get chunky AF. Pulls in the Overseer, gets the kill. Not bad, not bad. Gotta keep detection off the table in these scenarios. That's why you're gonna see a lot of those abducts used in this particular way. You don't want to get harpooned and reeled in. But as we know, one of the best ways to beat meching turtle mech players is to take the map and use all of the resources that are available to you to try and secure that victory. He pulls in a Ravager, throws a bunch of biles to deny him from doing anything else. I'd like to see him try to abduct a few of the lurkers here. I think that could go very well. He's got the siege to Overseer. This is a good opportunity to yoink, 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 yoink. There you go. A bunch of lurkers are dead now. Now move your lurkers up. But you got to be careful. You have a big Hydralisk counter over here. Oh my God, that's a lot of Hydras to try and push with. He does have a lurker. The Overseer's siege up so that he can try to target the lurker down first. I do actually like that a lot. One Spine Crawler will not be enough to save this hatchery as it gets picked off. Meanwhile, going around the middle with this little contingent of abduct picker offers, he leaves the hatchery at 1 hit point. He leaves the hatchery at 1 hit. Risky. What? What? He says, Nathan, I'm just trying to help you wake up, okay? I know you didn't get a proper coffee to start your day. It's true. Thank you. I did not get a proper coffee to start my day. If someone wants to send me a coffee, by all means, go for it. Ah, yes, the abduct games, my favorite. Picks off a creep tumor. Did he just kill one of his own units there on accident? I think he killed his own Hydra on accident for a sec there. Oh, there we go. Abducts all 3 lurkers on this base. This is when you start to move forward, right? Oh, yeah, he's got a lot. Careful about that blinding cloud. Nope. Actually, the blinding cloud only hits one of the lurkers. The next set of blinding clouds hits a lot. But both of them have blinded each other. And that's one really ugly engagement. But lurkers are good units. SortOf takes it. SortOf picks up the first dub in this series. I don't know what I was just watching. I don't know what I was just watching there. That was I mean, he basically found a way to play like a turtle Terran, a turtle mech Terran in that game. And that was fascinating. I don't know if that was the 2-0. Boom. I think he's... Oh, yeah, they're in a lobby for the next game already, I believe. So we'll join that if we can. Those meching turtles. Have you ever seen a robotic turtle crawling around on the ground, screaming about how much they hate Nidus worms and zealots and warp prisms? These things are related, ladies and gentlemen. These things, they are related. All right. Loaded into game 2. In the bottom left, we've got the blue Zerg player leading 1-0 at the moment. He is sort of faces off against purple Zerg in the northeast. He is risky. I'm going to grab my dumbbell and I'm going to start doing some curls during this game. Because getting the blood pumping is another good way to wake up. This is what happens when Nathan forgets to make a new pot of cold brew for the week. I can't believe that though, right? It was basically like a really, really greedy, fast third, very late ling speed from Risky. But he actually didn't take any damage. And then... what, that fourth got canceled? He tried to launch a big attack. It didn't do anything. And he had like an insane amount of Zerglings to fight with, but he just didn't... he didn't have any drones. It was like 25 drones to 50 from SortOf. So SortOf just had the greatest economy pretty much ever in StarCraft. But Risky went up to lurkers and like a hive at like the 6 or 7 minute mark. So basically he just had lurkers so fast that SortOf couldn't close the game out, because I think even on like 4 or 5 bases, trying to max out on roaches and just like a move into a guy that has 8 lurkers on top of a ramp, like you can't win. You can't win against that, right? Like that would have been suicide, I think, if SortOf tried to push the ramp. And since he did end up winning the game, I can't fault him for not, you know, walking into a meat grinder, to put it lightly. Meat grinders can be scary. They certainly can. We're still in the earlier rounds of the ESL Pro Tour Europe Weekly Cup. I've been covering these for a little bit now. There's been good times. I'm doing overhead. So what I do is I hold the top of the dumbbell with both hands over my head from under the top weight part, and then I just push it up until it's completely over my head, and then lower it back down to in between my shoulders. And I think that's a really good tricep workout. The important thing to know about personal exercise is that you can use almost anything to do almost anything. In fact, if you have one heavy dumbbell, you can even use it as a kettlebell if you really want to. You can just hold it in both hands and do squats. I'm not going to tell you that it's the best way. I'm just going to tell you, as a guy that's been trying to buy fitness equipment for the last 2 months, and since it's all sold out, can't, that I am trying to make do with what I can. And I can't use my pull-up bar now because the ceilings are too tall in this apartment and I'd never be able to reach it. Hashtag 5'6" life. But so far, everything's the same this game. We're not seeing the same madness from Risky yet. Although I do feel like at some point Risky's just going to try and go straight up to Hydras and Lurkers. You just need to be careful, because if that timing window to get to when you get attacked is while you're getting the Lurker Den, before you actually have any, before you actually have Hydras, before you have the ability or the income to actually build Lurkers, well, I think you're in a lot of trouble. Personally, I just think that's like, you know, do you really want to do that? Do you know? Do you want to put yourself in that position? Do you want to put yourself in that position? The answer, in my experience, it tends to trend towards no. Does he see it? Did he see it? He kind of saw a Baneling nest, but there's not really much else to see. +1 is coming up here. These couple Banelings for Risky, trying to get some Ling damage, but the Queens from SortOf have done a really good job of defending. SortOf, a legend in his own right, known as Rickard Mechanics Bergman. And Nate, would it have been possible to use Ravagers to poke out the Lurkers? It doesn't work because of the Lurker buffs. You used to be able to use Ravagers against Lurkers more effectively, even when they still had the Burrow upgrade. The Burrow upgrade makes it a lot easier to dodge Corrosive Bile, but the fact that Lurkers have 10 range now, when I think the cast range for Corrosive Bile is like 6 or 7, like you can't really cast Corrosive Bile that far. So like just the Lurkers having that much more range means that you have to expose yourself way too much to try and land Biles on them. Up until the patch that changed everything, I think lurkers by default had 8 or 9 range with no upgrade. And then they made it so that lurkers had 8 range, and then when you get the upgrade, it goes to 10. So I think it was just 8 originally, but now they're basically mobile tanks. They're better siege tanks than the siege tank. They cost more too. A little Bane Ling fun, Ling Bane fun. Dancing around the outside of Risky's base. ZvZ in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, careful. Oh! I baited him into manually detonating that, and he was not able to get it. You could just get a step ladder to use your pull-up bar. That's a little dangerous. It's a little bit dangerous. A little bit dangerous. I prefer walking up and down the stairs. I live on the 3rd floor, and nobody uses the stairwell here. They all just use the elevator. Oh, don't attack your own hatch, sort of. Oh, that was scary. Did you guys see that? Everyone's like, Nate, you really are tired, huh? I'm like, well, I'm starting to wake up now. I'm getting a little pump going. He snipes the banelings with the roaches. I really like that a lot. Tell you what's hard though, trying to cast, observe, make sure OBS isn't crashing, and curling in one hand. That's the real struggle right here. I do it because I love you guys, you know. Gets a surround on the 4th, denied there. Good job by Risky. He even gets the isolation on SortOf's roaches, but because those roaches have +1 and they 2-shot the lings, like they actually could kill everything here. As insane as that sounds, he's got a lot of roaches. He's got a lot of banelings. Oh, these roaches get kind of caught off, but like I said, the roaches got that +2 buff. Oh my god! And then he turns the weakened roaches into ravagers with perfect micro. Oh, that was beautiful. SortOf is actually really good at that, but Risky's been pretty good with his Zergling run-bys, and I have to say, he has that +1 again. Ladies and gentlemen, getting a couple of drones killed over at the 3rd base. SortOf blows up a baneling on his own hatchery on accident like this. Yeah, he's actually apparently seems to hit his own base without meaning to quite a few times. And now just SortOf has a lot of drones that are just, they're doing it our way, doing it our way. And now they're going to go back to work. But oh, that was a scary little moment there. Now here's the problem. Guess what Risky's doing? Yeah, you guessed it. He's got a lurker den already. He's got the infestation pit coming. He has a fully saturated main, natural, and 3rd. He has a 4th. He even has the macro hatch in his main because he was building so many Zerglings. And now lurkers are coming out. So SortOf is going to go across the map and realize, oh crap, I can't really do a whole lot here. Because he's been kind of stuck keeping his units at home to deal with all these counterattacks and run-bys. And now Risky is going to be able to get to exactly the army composition that he wants. Let's go Risky, hope of New Zealand. Man, I've heard New Zealand is so nice. My brother had a 4-hour layover there on his way to Australia. You could try that one going in your door frame. You could regulate its height. The one that goes in the door frame, that's scary. I'm gonna have to lose a lot of weight before I try that. Keepo. There's so many lurkers on the map. Like, what's he gonna do here? What is he gonna do here? Now, I need to lose weight more than anything. The pull-ups are about as efficient of an exercise as a human being is capable of doing. So I'll find a way to get back into that. Once the restrictions lessen up more and they don't limit the gym capacity to 4 people at a time for a build, you know, for an apartment with like 1,000+ people living there. Once they're allowed to actually have like 20 people in the gym again, I think life will be a lot easier. But we know we're pretty far off from that, so don't blame me for being a fat ass. I can't I can't survive these days otherwise. So the lurkers, he's just got so many of them. Guys, he's doing he's turtle meching. Can someone get me that dubstep sound? Oh 911 now. He's turned on back in. Well, you've got a pretty big arc here to push from at least. And the lurker range upgrade for Risky is not done yet. So all he can do is throw his lurkers kind of into everything. The Zerglings are going to try to come support this so that the lurkers can take that position, but they're not quite there yet. Corrosive Balls are falling down on a couple of those lurkers. He says, look, man, I've got the economy. I've got the supply lead. I don't care if you kill a bunch of my roaches with the lurkers. I will still be able to win this. But the roaches are dying really fast because lurkers are actually good units. Yeah, but the next wave of roaches seems like it's going to turn the tide here. And SortOf says, I don't want to play another 20-minute long game. Why don't you just die this time? Why didn't you just die? And so it looks like he's going to maybe be able to do. The lurkers are incredibly annoying. The whole point of the Zerglings is to just waste his shots to not be on the lurkers. And now he's going to get a bunch more Ravagers. I actually like this a lot. Just keep raining the biles everywhere around the lurker because he doesn't have the burrow speed upgrade either. Because what he really needs to have... What he really needs to have is just those lurkers be able to pelt away from a long range. And the range upgrade is about to finish. Literally second before the game ends. Tragedy right there, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the end of the series.